Wondering where life will take you. Sometimes it's kind, sometimes it breaks you. Just look to the sky when it seems to be falling. Hold your head up high when down is calling.
Life is like a bunch of doors. You have the keys to some of them, but not to them all. This is a story about a girl named Jess. She found this key and was able to set herself and others free. A door had just opened for Jess. She had been chosen for the team. This was every athlete's dream. She had been training since she was 4 years old just for this opportunity. But this meant training 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. She would miss school and what was left of her social life. She would do anything to stay on the team. It would be worth all the pain and hard work. She was so close. Jess knew she would have to work much harder than the other girls. Her scores were excellent, but she had to look like the other girls on her team. Jess had a bigger bone structure and carried more muscle mass. The girls on her team were dieting, and as they lost more and more weight, Jess felt more pressure. Jess had tried so many diets. She felt like she wanted to pass out all the time. In the last selection, she scored high enough in all categories except compatibility. She had failed. Jess was cut from the team. Jess was devastated. Her dreams were destroyed. She had nothing to live for. She was stuck behind the door of her shame and did not have the key to unlock it. Maya was Jess' best friend. She was worried about her. She set up a meeting for Jess with a woman who had helped many. The woman said she would tell Jess a healing story, but she had to close her eyes and open her heart. In a small village in Africa lived a girl. Her name was Ntombi, but she was known as the village outcast. You see, Ntombi was not like the other girls. She was smaller in frame and was not as strong. She was not able to do the jobs the other girls did of carrying heavy water jugs or working on farms. Ntombi's father left the family. He had always called her small and insignificant, and she was filled with shame. If only she was larger, stronger, maybe he would have stayed. Ntombi had a dream. She saw so much poverty and suffering in her village, and she wanted to help make a difference one day. Ntombi could not afford to go to school like the wealthy children. She had to stay home taking care of her baby sister. Her mother worked long hours. They were very poor, and life was very hard. The day came when there was no more work. They would lose their small home and everything that belonged to them. The one last opportunity left to make some money was a 3-day journey through the desert to collect water from the ocean. The villagers believed it had a healing power. The sun burnt down on them, and the sand burnt their feet. Sand dune after sand dune, they pressed on. Water and food were running out. Night came, and a heavy sadness and hopelessness came over her. Just when she was about to give up, she heard a sound. She tasted salt. The ocean. So much water that you could not see the other side. She looked up to the most breathtaking taking image, the sky blazing orange, red flames of fire, the golden sun rising up into the sky. In that moment, she noticed how very small she really was. She did something she had never done before. She picked up a shell and whispered a message to God. You are so big, and I am so small. To me, my problems are so big, but to you, they are small. So take them. She threw the shell into the ocean as far as she could throw it. She then saw written in the sand, Intombi, God's pearl, a shell with a large pearl inside. The 3-day journey felt like a day. They were so filled with happiness. Intombi sold the pearl and used the money to buy a farm so that she could feed the poor in the village. Orphanages was built and schools, and all were welcome. The most famous of all was Intombi, not just for her wealth, but for something else. Her success had world leaders, psychologists, and doctors all trying to find out her secret, but each left disappointed. She had finally agreed to one interview, a reporter from the West. He traveled with his crew for 3 days by plane. Anxiously, they waited on the beach. They would sell the story and be rich and famous. The reporter saw a silhouette of a small woman walking toward him. He could not help but wonder how someone so small could do such great things. He asked her, "What is your secret? You take the outcasts and the misfits of this world, and after being with you, they are transformed. They give back to the world. They use their gifts and talents to heal and help those who are in desperate need. They make the world a better place." Intombi replied, "I write their name in the sand with the words God's pearl next to it. I tell them, my Father on earth called me small and insignificant. The world called me an outcast. But my Father in heaven, he named me his pearl and called me to greatness. It doesn't matter what the world says about you. The only words that count are the words that God has spoken over your life." The reporter had come to get a story that he could make himself famous and rich. Instead, he received something far greater than he ever could have imagined. He no longer wanted to just take from the world. He now wanted to give back. The woman handed Jess a brown box. Inside was a bracelet, which had a single pearl on it. She explained that society had labeled this pearl as imperfect, just because it had a different shape. Anyone who does not conform to society's mold is deemed imperfect, just because they are unique and different. But the truth is that we're all created unique. No one has the same fingerprints, and no one has the same life assignments. Each of us have different gifts and talents that will bring hope, love, and healing into the world. But the only way we can do this is by living authentically. The shell represents our problems and our hurts, the things that we need to give over to God. She told Jess that if the healing story had helped her, she could pass it on. She gave her a yellow box, which had inside the healing story, pearls, and shells. Jess was no longer stuck behind the door of shame. She was able to take off those labels. She had finally found the key to set herself free. Jess passed the healing story on, and it transformed many lives. Jess followed her heart, and she studied to become an art therapist. She was able to help many. Jess falls in love and gets married, and they decide that they are going to adopt a young girl. Jess had experienced firsthand the pressures of society and what it deemed beautiful and perfect. She knew it was time to pass on the healing story to her own daughter. As you face your door of shame, it may be the labels that society has put on you, or even the labels you have put on yourself. The truth is, you can tear them down. You have the key. It's within.